Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Fozzie here, obviously. Today and for the next couple of days, I am in Delhi, a place that I have been avoiding for quite some time, primarily because of the air quality. But today I am here, and this afternoon I am checking out the Qutub Minar, and there's a couple of other spots that I'm going to check out as well. So stay with me, enjoy the footage, and yeah, if you enjoy it, leave a comment, you know, ask some questions. I'll give a bit more of an insight as the footage rolls on. So for now, stay tuned.
Rising from Delhi's historic earth, the Qutub Minar is more than a minaret. It's a silent witness to conquest, faith, and fractured memory. Built in 1192 by Qutub-ud-Din Aybak, the first ruler of the Delhi Sultanate, it marked the victory of Islamic rule over the last strongholds of Hindu power. Before the Mamluks, this site was the Lal Kot, the fortress of the Tomars, and later extended by Prithviraj Chauhan into Quilla, Rai, Pitora. These Rajput rulers had filled the region with temples dedicated to Shiva, Vishnu, and the Jain Tirthankara Mahavir, in total matching around 27 temples, each sculpted with rich iconography, detailed pillars, and celestial carvings. These temples were destroyed following the Islamic conquests, and their stones were reused to construct the Quwwat-ul-Islam Mosque, the first mosque in India, built under the Muslim rule.
So, what you guys are looking at is actually an incomplete minar. This one was built by Sultan Alauddin Khaji, and that was in, my notes are here, the 1296 to 1316, and apparently it was never finished because he died. I'm not sure what he died from, but the architecture is actually, it's not really that nice. It's very like haphazard, lots of loose blocks, and a very, you know, I mean, there's cement of course, but there's no precision or symmetry to the actual design. It's very loose and rough, and I mean, it looks kind of cool, but realistically, if you were to look at it from an architectural perspective, it's disgusting. But either way, it's kind of cool to look at. We're going to go check out more of the site shortly. There's the Qutub Minar over there, which we will go and check out. So yeah, stay tuned and keep enjoying the footage, I guess. All right, so I've just had a quick little bit of a look around some sections of the site where most people like don't tend to tread, where they don't tend to walk. And I've noticed something quite interesting, which is essentially the same structure and design that I experienced and witnessed at the Ujjala Baudi, the Bright Well, when I was in Indore, which was the foundational structure of that massive building, which could have been a palace, it could have been a hall, it could have been numerous amounts of things. But if you've seen that video, you'll see the same design structure on the foundation that you see here and you see here. Now, they're up the right way. There's another one here that's got a bit more detail on it, which is this one here. Now, this one's actually upside down. I mean, this could be around the right way, but as you can see, it's exactly the same as the ones in Madhya Pradesh. Now, a couple of people reached out to me and said, Fozzie, the individual that reached out to me said, Fozzie, these are actually like ancient, like Rajput, like Malwari structures or something like that, which were obviously Hindu structures that the Mughals then built on top. So there's already evidence at the Qutub Minar site that there's Hindu structures here. Yeah, very, very interesting. So I'm going to keep moving on, but I'm in a little corner pocket. That's the, I've already forgotten the name of the particular minaret, but the one that was never complete because that guy died. Same design work that has been repurposed when this place was conquered, as you can see. Some pillars. Now these pillars are cut in literally the same style as you find at many of the other Hindu and or Buddhist rock cut architecture, which is this like, what is it? I've forgotten, hexagonal. The hexagonal design. You can see some very, very ancient markings. This looks like it's the same as those other blocks that I just showed you before. The same design, but this has obviously been heavily eroded. This is basalt. And there's a massive basalt block here. It could actually be granite, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, this is granite. There's a massive granite beam here that runs into whatever this was intended to be. Very, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. There's the blocks that I was talking about, so the same as that. Oh man, what a beautiful afternoon. Delhi's turning out to be quite a treat, to be honest with you. I'm surprised it took me this long to get here. You can see this worn image of a deity. Well, not really a deity, but kind of. It's more of a mythological creature in Hinduism. It's heavily eroded. This is actually upside down. This is what they refer to, I believe, as yalis, which you see at the tops of load-bearing support beams, load-bearing support pillars across many sites. If you've seen my early footage at Aurangabad and Rani Ki Vav and some of those other places, you'll see this consistently on the tops of those load-bearing support pillars. So this is definitely an ancient Hindu site. There's lots of architecture around, which you've probably just seen from the footage that I've showed. But yeah, man, very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Surrounding the Qutub Minar is a rich archaeological complex filled with monuments that span centuries, reflecting layers of Delhi's history from the early medieval Hindu Rajput period to the later Islamic sultanates. Each structure adds depth to the narrative of conquest, assimilation, and architectural brilliance. The Quwwat-ul-Islam Mosque, constructed in 1193, is the oldest mosque in India, built by the Delhi Sultanate. It was commissioned by Qutub-ud-Din Aybak and famously constructed using the remains of 27 demolished Hindu and Jain temples. Its intricately carved pillars still bear figures and motifs from those early temples, creating a surreal blend of Islamic arches and Hindu iconography. At the center of the mosque's courtyard stands the Iron Pillar of Delhi, a 7.2 meter column from the 4th century CE, originally erected by Chandragupta II. It has baffled scientists with its resistance to corrosion and remains a symbol of advanced ancient metallurgy and early Gupta-era sophistication. The Qutub Minar itself began under Aybak, who only completed the first level. His successor, Iltutmish, added 3 more stories, while Firoz Shah Tughlaq replaced the damaged upper section with the final 2 tiers. The result is a 5-story sandstone tower, inscribed with verses from the Quran, blending Afghan aesthetics with local craftsmanship, part minaret, part monument to power. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Qutub Minar complex is a fusion of survival and supremacy, faith and fragility. It stands not just as a symbol of medieval engineering, but as a living archive of India's layered, contested and enduring history.
You guys can see the Iron Pillar. Now this is a bit of a famous spot at the Qutub Minar. Iron Pillar's here, Qutub Minar is over here. Now this Iron Pillar is apparently 1,600 years old, and it's got absolute minimal signs of erosion. It's in incredible condition. Apparently the top section is 23 feet and it goes into the ground for another 23 feet. I mean, I think that's what the secular lady over there had said when I was just listening in. But yeah, pretty beautiful place in some respects. Too bad the people that operate at the site are a bunch of crazy secularists that keep referring to ancient Hindu architecture as ancient Indian architecture, which is very disingenuous, but it is what it is. So yeah. So I just had a quick conversation with one of the other guides that's walking around. Very lovely, very intelligent woman, kept referring to Hindu architecture. I'm like, oh, this is someone I can listen to. Her name was Arachanka, I've forgotten. But she was like tattooed up and she had like piercings and stuff like that. It was kind of funky to see, to be honest with you. But I had a quick conversation with her about the actual site, and she said that the Tomar rulers, which were Rajputs, had domain and control of the place. And this whole site was made up of not just Hindu temples, but also Jain temples. And she pointed out to a particular pillar, which is here, and I'll show it to you guys in a sec. And it actually has the iconography of Mahavir, which is not Mahavir as in Hanuman, but Mahavir in Jainism, which you can see right here. And it comes around as well on all sides of this particular pillar, which is quite fascinating. So yeah, and you can see the tops of the load-bearing pillars of that same design you see at places like Rani Ki Vav in Gujarat and the Aurangabad caves in Sambhaji Nagar. This is a crazy place, man, with a lot of history, a lot of history. So there's proper Hindu structures here. The ASI aren't even hiding it. It's plainly obvious. These are old like Rajput structures and stuff like that. And the designs, whether from the tops of the load-bearing support pillars, even the roof structure, hell, even the designs, let alone the rock, it's all basalt. So I mean, people might say it's Rajput. I think it's much older, probably occupied by Rajputs, you know, during their designated time frame of this area when it came under conquest. But yeah, this is definitely an ancient Hindu site, like for sure. At least from what the evidence I've shown you so far. So yeah, gonna keep having a little bit of a look around, see a few things. There's this quaint, cute little design of a window wall or something. But anyway, yeah, so stay tuned and enjoy more of the footage, I guess. So my day's almost done. A couple of things of note, obviously, that I've described in some way, shape or form, but yeah, a lot of this original architecture, this Hindu Rajput architecture, that does come from Madhya Pradesh. It's a very fascinating place. I'm not sure, I asked that lady again, I spotted her, I asked her, is there any underground aquifers and stuff like that? She said she's not sure, she doesn't think so, but she can't rule it out because there is definitely a couple of wells, big wells in fact, which I showed you at the beginning of the footage. And there's some sections of ground that have holes punched in them to allow the channeling of water. So there might actually be an aquifer underneath this site. But yeah. So I guess I'll keep showing you guys maybe a little bit more footage. There's not really much more to see. But if you're enjoying this footage, and I'm sure you are, then give me a like, a share, subscribe, hit the bell, tell your husbands, tell your wives, tell your boss, tell your friends. Bye, there's a Gora in town from Australia checking out Delhi. So yeah, very cool place, man, very cool place. Bit sad, but cool that there's a lot of readily available Hindu architecture. So yeah. All right, so it's towards the end of the day here. I've been to the Qutub Minar and the surrounding complex, the Iron Pillar, and I've shown you guys some very unique things, mainly revolving around the Toma Rajput architecture, the Hindu architecture. But there's a couple more things before I finish up. There's a murti there that's covered up with glass. Now water would obviously run down through here, but there is a murti there and it kind of looks like Vishnu. Now I managed to actually take a photo of it just before my battery on my phone died. So yeah, there's some murtis up there on a pillar that's been used as part of, you know, the structure itself, or the rebuilding of, or the build of this mosque. You can see just here, and I know it's difficult to, there's actually the punched in markings that I've shown you at Bhojpur temple, that those would be used to hang actual murtis upon. This is the backside of this mosque, and it's quite fascinating. This side doesn't really get a lot of attention, but you know me, I'm gonna go for a little bit of a woo, bit of a show and tell, a little bit of a cheeky check. And I might quickly sneak down there when nobody's looking, so let's just do it now. There's no one around, there's minimal people. Fuck it. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. They've got this thing closed up. Oh, it's Ganesh. It's Ganapati. Interesting. Very interesting. Cool. People don't climb over this thing and show and tell stuff like that. Found a... This is incredibly smooth, man. I'm not sure what kind of block this is. I don't know if this is granite. It kind of looks like diorite, to be honest with you. And it's got this incredibly smooth inner cylindrical cutout. Very fascinating. Someone's just stuffed bottles and that in there, but whoa, man. I mean, this could be recent, I'm not too sure, but it's just left to its own devices in some random pocket. There's a washroom down there. This is, yeah, very fascinating. I mean, when the ASI, I'm not knocking you guys, but I know when you guys want to really hide some stuff, you leave it in like inconspicuous areas, just in case, you know, one day. And that's really inconspicuous. Okay. If you've enjoyed this footage, share, like, subscribe, and I can continue making this content for you guys. You know, and I love to do it. But anyway, now the ending. From me to you, to wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And Jai Shri Ram. It's fun to... No, I know, but my phone's dead, so I've got no choice. No choice, bro.